Hi there, here's a really short video on a cheap way to scope your Sub 2K. First thing you're going to need is a weaver mount. Pick it up, of course ripped it right. That's a 405. You see it's for a Thompson Center TCR. I believe that's the weaver number, 48105. That mount I believe was, I think it was about $10, and then probably another $10 for shipping. But there you have it. It is the perfect mount for it because of the bolt pattern there. It's got a 4-bolt pattern. Unlike a lot of mounts, it doesn't have the holes right down the center. They're spaced like that, and there's 4 of them, so it's a good solid way. And all I did was I laid the mount across the top with the stock together. Try not to lose any hardware here. That'd be really bad up where I am. Just laid it across and marked my holes. I just eyed it up. I didn't do anything spectacular. I just made sure I was in the center for these marks. And then marked and drilled my holes. Now I drilled the holes a little small and then tapped the plastic and just put the screws that came with the mount in, just to see. I did have some gunsmith size taps, and just to make sure everything was going to work out all right. And then I went ahead and drilled out the holes a little bigger, and then I think they're number 6 machine screws, number 6 by 1/2 inch, I believe. I'll post it in the comments if that's different. And stainless screws. And then I just drilled the holes out a little bit so they would sit flush. And then I took the stainless lock nuts and just 2-part epoxied them in to the handguard. That way it's fairly easy to disassemble if you want and put it back together. And so far the 2-part epoxies worked. It never truly hardens up, so it doesn't break with the impact of firing. It just stays a little bit soft and gummy and holds the lock nuts enough for you to get them started. Once the lock nuts are started and tight, this stuff really doesn't do anything. So there's that. So for the price of the hardware and some lock nuts, you're pretty much well on your way. There we have it. Here's the mount on the gun. And the rest of the mounting system is basically an AR-15 mount. Normally you see it reversed the other way. It's to push the scope forward, but it works just fine this way. This mount is the one bad part about it. This is just a cheap section of rail that normally goes on. I think it's to adapt this sort of rail into a Picatinny rail, but also gives a significant bump in height, which works well. If it wasn't for the big bell on this scope, I could co-witness through these holes, and it lines up perfectly with the sights on the Kel-Tec, which means I can leave the sights on with this particular way of mounting, which was a good advantage I considered. Good and tight. And there she is. There's a nice solid mount.